Hello there. I'm back with another vlog. One of my sitting at the desk vlog entries that I just do to kind of just catch everybody up on what's going on. I'm actually pretty excited about what I have to talk about today, so I'm just going to jump right into it. I'll let you know what it is that we're going to cover. I've got a couple things going on. I've got an auto-generated blog that I have created that uses the content on this very YouTube channel to create blog entries. I'll talk about why I feel that's important. I also wanted to mention that I did get my wife on camera. If you looked at my last video, we went to a Foo Fighters concert, and my wife was not only on camera, she was holding the camera, she was engaging. It was a lot of fun, and I got a commitment for more. So I'm really looking forward to talking about that. Also, I've got a YouTube channel, an AI YouTube channel, independent from this vlog, that I've been working on and kind of thinking about for a long time. You know, on this channel, I'm not too worried about things like the algorithm and, you know, drawing or maintaining an audience. It's really mostly for me. That one is going to be different. That one, I do care about it. I want to make sure I do it right. So I've really been in kind of the heavy planning stages on that one, and that's still moving along. I want to talk about that. And then lastly, I'd like to just share a little bit about some of the inspiration that I've been getting from the other vloggers that are doing their thing on YouTube. It'll explain a little bit more about what inspires me and why I'm even doing this in the first place. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So if you're actually looking at this vlog, maybe you're here for the first time, maybe you've come back, but you look at my numbers and you'll see like I don't have really high views. My channel's very new. It's pretty unstructured. It's really mostly for me, for my friends, and for my family. But when I look at what it's doing and I see that those numbers are low, my first thought is I want to make them better. I'm not too interested in trying to manipulate my thumbnails and, you know, come up with strategies for how I should, you know, format the structure of these presentations to make sure that I get bigger or better numbers. And I really feel like the reason that's that way is because I just don't want to be focusing on that. I want to be able to just have a brain dump, just say whatever's on my mind and not worry about manipulating it or modifying it to suit, you know, whatever works well on the algorithm. But I do want people to look at it. I want people to see it. So my thought is, if I'm not going to focus too much on the YouTube algorithm, maybe I can see if there is a way that I can just draw traditional search engine traffic into my vlog. So, for example, if somebody is looking for information about, you know, breast cancer research, or what is it like to be the husband of a wife who's been diagnosed with breast cancer, just things that are relevant to the things that I'm talking about right now, I want people to find me. And traditionally, people will find content like that online through, you know, more traditional search engines. YouTube and Google are largely considered to be the two biggest search engines in the world, right? Independent of each other. Google is its own thing, YouTube is its own thing, but people are doing searches on those two separate entities. They're considered two separate entities despite the fact that Google owns both of them. But Google represents more traditional searching. YouTube represents modern searching of video content. So how do I bring those two together? And my first thought was a blog. But one of the things that I want to make sure that I'm doing if I'm producing a blog is that I'm not focusing on managing that. If I'm doing a video log or a vlog, I want to focus on creating video. I want traditional search engines to find me, but I don't want to have to worry about managing a blog independent of the vlog. I really wish they didn't rhyme. Saying vlog and blog and going back and forth. Anyway, so my point is, I want to benefit from having a blog without having to manage it. So how do I create a blog that generates blog entries based on my video content while allowing me to be hands-off? And I have solved that problem. Okay, so now I'm sharing my entire screen, and what you're looking at here is you're looking at my blog. You'll see that I've got my own custom domain, zonklife.com, and this blog is effectively a collection of blog entries that are based on the video entries that I have on this YouTube channel. So I'll go ahead and I'll click on one of these entries just so you can see what it does. So it's using the same exact title that I've got on my YouTube video as the title of the blog entry. First thing, because, you know, For me, what's important is the video content. So the very first thing that you see is an embedded video of the video that ultimately inspired this blog entry. But let's scroll down a little bit, and you'll see that what it's doing is it's providing a summary. And I'll read a little bit about the summary. I'll talk to you about how I'm generating this, but it goes into, hey, what a night. My wife Rachel and I just got back from an awesome Foo Fighters concert at the Kia Forum, and boy, do we have a story to tell. So not exactly how I talk. And I'll explain that. This is actually AI-generated content. And the way that it's been produced is I've asked a large language model to look at the video that I'm pointing to. I have it look at my video description, but I also have it download the transcript of the video. And then I'm prompting it to say, go ahead and produce a summary of this video's content, but look at the transcript and try to match the way that I speak. It does okay. But I can tell you, I would never start a sentence and conclude it with, and boy, do we have a story to tell. So it's not perfect, but it's close. It goes in and it summarizes basically what you can expect in this video. And, this is all searchable content. I've got key points here where it sort of summarizes what's going on in bullet point format. And then I try to be transparent and say that this blog was automatically generated from my YouTube video, watch above, or view directly on YouTube, it's got a link. And then down here at the bottom, I've got my tags. It looks at the content of the video and it tries to produce some tags that are relevant, which really just enhances the searchability of this content. If you go home, you'll see I've got an index of all of the videos that I have produced in the past several weeks. And then up here at the top, I've got archives. So this will take me back to, what I've produced, early this year in 2026. So we've only got a handful of entries. And then again, still pretty new. So just a handful of entries in 2025, specifically in December. You can click on any one of these and see that it's going to bring up, the same exact title as my video. It's going to embed my video, let you view it in real time. And then you've got that summary again. You got the summary. You got the key points, and then you got the direct link back to YouTube. So I'll talk a little bit about what it is that I use to generate this. And the only reason that I want to talk about that is because I think this is a great tool. I want to see if maybe there's a way I can open source it so that other people can use it as well. I can't be the only starting vlogger that's saying, hey, let me try to bring in some traditional search engine traffic and see if I can boost these numbers a little bit. But the gist of it is, it produces content. It's using a framework called Hugo. It produces content in Markdown files. It does so totally automatically. If you look here at my most recent entry, you'll see it's a Markdown file where it's got some of the key metrics or key data points in a table. And then it's got the summary and just regular text, the key points in bullet point text in a Markdown file that gets consumed and translated into HTML by the framework. And then what's really great about it is it's using GitHub Actions. And you'll see I've got, it's run a couple of times. It's failed during development. I was doing this over the weekend, but, ran it manually. It worked. And now I've got it on its schedule. So it checks twice daily for new entries. It actually looks at the RSS feed on my YouTube channel. It tries to locate and identify any videos that are new. And if it finds a new one that it doesn't have yet, it does its work. It reaches into the video, it looks at that video description, it downloads that transcript, and then it sends that data to a large language model with my prompt that produces that summary and those key bullet points. It gives that back. I produce that Markdown file, and that gets translated into HTML, and I've got myself a brand new blog entry, completely hands-off. It's done it for me. So I'm hoping that that's going to give me a little bit of a boost and make things go a little bit better as far as those numbers are concerned while I continue to kind of establish my consistency. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It was kind of fun to produce. AI is largely driving this. I want to produce the content in such a way that it more closely matches the way that I talk so that I don't have sentences that kind of make me cringe when I read them back. But I also want to be transparent with my audience and let them know, hey, this was auto-generated. I did not write this blog post. The whole idea is to try to summarize my video content in a way that makes it a little bit more searchable in a more traditional search engine. So transparency is key. I don't want to try to fool anybody. But I'm a proponent of AI. I think that there are very good uses of it. This, I think, is one of them. And And in the interest of full disclosure, I hit a handful of roadblocks during the course of development on this, and I leveraged AI to get me over those roadblocks. So AI is, I mean, honestly, it is the future, and you really do want to embrace a lot of these tools, and see if there's a way that you can make them a productive part of your daily life without really depending on them too much. So I'll go into that a little bit more, but I wanted to talk about the next milestone that was really important to me, and that was that I got my wife on camera the other day. I was really pleased. We won these tickets to Foo Fighters. We're both fans of the Foo Fighters. We listened to the radio here in Los Angeles, a station called KROQ on 106.7. I've been listening to them for decades. My wife's been listening to them for the past several years, and she is one of the winningest people on that radio station. She calls in all the time. She's always winning tickets, and this was one of those times. I've mentioned it before. I'm really just proud of my wife and the battle that she's fought against cancer. I don't feel that I do a very good job of telling her how impressed I am and how she's effectively, a hero now. I mean, for the way that she conquered that disease, just because it was so devastating to the family to get this news, and she just really faced it head on and just kicked the crap out of it. It's really inspiring, and I'm pretty poor at expressing that. And I like the idea of her participating in this and leaving behind a legacy for our kids and our grandkids to see, because she's an incredible person, and I want her to be known more widely. So I like the idea of her grabbing that camera and talking into the camera and engaging the audience in what it was that we were doing. I hope she does more. I'm really, really happy with it. If you haven't looked at that video, go ahead and take a look. She's amazing, and I got a commitment from her to do more. So I got my fingers crossed that that's going to happen soon. Also, one of the things that I wanted to chat about was the AI YouTube channel that I've been discussing for a while. I mentioned it at the start of this video. AI, big deal. It has a lot of sweeping impacts that are really important that I think people need to talk about. I really do enjoy talking about what you can do creatively with AI, but I think that's very controversial. I really like talking about what you can do from a productivity standpoint with AI, especially in the realm of coding and writing software. That, again, is also controversial. And then the sweeping impact that AI will have, I think, is worth discussing. I think a lot of our smartest leaders are already talking about it. If you follow Bernie Sanders at all, you know he's talking about it. If you don't follow him, you should. He's got a lot of interesting insights into, AI and its impact on society and what our leaders need to be doing to make sure that, we're all in a good place when things start to really evolve. I believe that a lot of our leaders think that it's going to have an economical impact. It's going to affect the availability of jobs, and people have ideas on what we can do to make sure that we stay ahead of that. I want to discuss all of those topics, and I feel like I've got a pretty good format for how I want to do that on YouTube. The great thing is that I think I might be adding a podcast to that as well. I've been chatting with a friend who is a big proponent and user of AI, and he shares a lot of the same ideas that I have, and he encounters a lot of the same obstacles that I do. There are plenty of people who are seasoned veterans in software engineering who are very against AI, despite the fact that we can stand in front of them and show them all of the really great uses of it. So we want to be transparent and talk about why we think it's so great and see if we can really just, fire up some pretty decent, productive discussions on the topic. So in addition to that AI YouTube channel, there may be a podcast as well to sort of augment those efforts, and I'm really excited about that. Lastly, I do want to talk about some of the vloggers that have inspired me. I've mentioned it a few times. If you scroll back a little bit, you'll see that the first official video on this channel is one that was inspired by a vlogger whose name is Adam the Woo. And I know that I've talked about this before, but I also don't get a whole lot of traction on my videos, so I'll mention it again that, Adam, if you don't know who he is, he was an intriguing individual. He was a vlogger who spent many years on YouTube. He is my age. He's about a month older than me. He passed away just a handful of weeks ago, so this is the end of December, right before Christmas. Adam passed away. It was really sad. I didn't know him, and I really didn't follow much of his work. I found that I had watched a couple of his videos because I had been searching for subject matter that he covered quite frequently, but I really didn't subscribe or follow his content. I found out about his passing because I follow a vlogger. His name is Brickey. He's got a channel called Hey Brickey, and he's got a personal vlog called Brickey Vlog. And he was doing a video one day about, I believe it was about Universal Studios, and he released the video unfinished and shared his reaction to discovering the news that Adam had passed away. And he was really moved emotionally, and it was gripping. It was really hard to not be as moved as he was. It made me think, who is Adam? And I need to go learn more about him. So I found him, found his channel, started looking at his stuff, and it was a real shame that I had not discovered him earlier, because the kind of stuff that he covered was definitely my kind of stuff. But it was interesting to discover Adam and to see how far back he goes. I mean, he's been on YouTube for like 15 years, and basically just walking around with a camera and recording himself and talking into his camera and sharing sort of the details about his day, whether it was exciting or not, right? I mean, he could have a day where he's just sort of drinking coffee and going to the store and buying decorations for his home. I mean, they weren't all compelling, but they were uniquely him, and he had established a following. So discovering that, he was out there, that he was producing the work that he was producing, and that he had died so suddenly, nobody was anticipating it. It didn't seem like he was sick. But one of the key messages that he always had was, if you're thinking about doing something like this, if you're thinking about being creative, don't wait, because you never know what life has in store for you. You never know what day is going to be your last, which is this really interesting message. It's really interesting, in fact, to get that message from someone that has recently passed away unexpectedly. So it was really hard to not really just dig into his content. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. Like, I don't want to wait. I want to keep moving forward with this stuff and not delay, and share my thoughts and feelings and my family and the people that I love with everyone. So that's what I'm doing here. But it's important to note that there are other people that I've been following before Adam's passing inspired me to really kick off this channel. Really interesting people. Brickey is one of them. Really great, creative guy. I mean, a guy who maybe doesn't necessarily have a professional filmmaking background, but to me is very much a filmmaker. He's a documentarian, if you were to ask me. I think that Brickey is really amazing, and I want to talk more about what he does and his work and what it means to me. But then there's also other people that I follow on YouTube that are not necessarily artists, but are really great human beings that I really enjoy spending time with. One of them is a competitive eater. Her channel name is Katina Eats Kilos. She's great, and she's got a huge following. But I don't think many people follow her. Or many people do follow her. She actually has quite a few subscribers. But I mean, many people in my life have never heard of her, which is a shame, because she's really wonderful. She's got a really great personality. She's a lot of fun. You think to yourself, do I really care about competitive eating? You may not. But what makes her fun to watch is her. And I really want to spend a little bit more time on this channel talking about the vloggers and the creators that I follow that inspire me to want to get myself out there as well. I think it would be fun. I think it would be great for me to have an opportunity to kind of share with my friends and family what I'm looking at, and see if I can get them to look at some of those folks too. So that's another thing that I'm going to start doing on this channel, and I just want to kind of get that out there and make it official. I feel like it kind of helps me hold myself accountable if I get it out there and mention it. So that's what this is about. Anyway, that's kind of a big update, but I just wanted to share where I was with everybody, just to maintain that level of consistency and share some of the things I'm enjoying right now. So that's going to do it for me. I appreciate your time if you stuck through this video this long. If you did, please do me a favor and do all that YouTube stuff. I'm starting to see my numbers go up a little bit, but I'd love to see them go up a little bit more. So if you are so inclined, please subscribe and show me that you are here by liking this video. I appreciate that. And I will see you on the next one.